Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2. Today we're not visiting the German super fortress, but some German defensive lines that some experimental British tanks will be assaulting. This is going to be a two-part series. In part 2, the German defenses are going to be way stepped up, and they're also going to be bringing in their own prototypes that never got to see action in reality. So I'm super excited to be bringing in more experimental tanks, but in today's video, the highlight is going to fall on the British land cruiser, which looks absolutely insane. I can't wait to see it in action. So first of all, we have the first German line here of defense. It's got two self-propelled howitzers of the Wespe variant, two flak 38s, and plenty of infantry with AT weapons. We're talking Panzerschrecks and Panzerfausts, MG42s, and mortars. That's the first line of defense. I reckon there's roughly 120 Germans crewing this line here. There's also two MG42 bunkers, one to the right and one to the left that we just saw there. And we're going through the first line here. Again, that's the flak 38 on wheels, that's the Wespe, and both lines here split by the road in the middle with the mortar on the left side have those vehicles. Back here we have some Luftwaffe ground forces in the forest. I think they look cool. They have a really great camouflage pattern and everything, so it really fits in. They've dug out some foxholes, and they're going to be holding the second line here. There's, I think, about 3 lines in total. And what they're meant to be is essentially, I don't know, try and like weaken the British attack before part 2 begins. And over here we have this really cool bunker. It's like a communications post or an ammo depot that's underground, but they have a really cool defensive line there with sandbags, and they're going to be holding that. A few foxholes outside as well. And on the left side here we have more foxholes and a little trench line. There's a Panzer IV in front of it as well, and the Panzer IV is from the mod we're using, so it looks different. It's very cool. I think we have another one up here that we can see later on as well. So there's going to be roughly 80 Luftwaffe ground forces in line in the second line, very well spread out. Coming up to the third line, we have an SFH-18 sitting pretty there on the left. No, that's not the one. It's an LEFH-18, I believe. Here's a flak 88mm gun that's going to be crewing that bunker. Plenty of infantry in here that's going to be defending. Once again, the highlight and the main focus on this video is on the British experimental tanks that are about to roll in. The defenses are cool and they're nicely managed and well organized, but they're not the main point of this video. This is not meant to be one of those line defense videos that I've done that have been very popular over the course of my channel, but this is going to fall on the British. So we're not going to be looking at too much of the defenses here. They're meant to obviously put up a good fight against the Brits who will be attacking. But in reality, what I do want to make happen here is that the Brits break through sooner or later, and that they'll have an ability to attack the fortress in the background. And just because I've limited my camera view, I can't go there to see it, but see it as a teaser. It's a really cool kind of defensive wall that has a high ground, and it's well protected, and I think it shields like a base. It's got more bunkers and things back there, and we can definitely put up some really cool tanks on the wall itself, because it's more of a high ground protected by a concrete wall rather than just like a fortress where we can't really put tanks on the walls, so to speak. There are a great number of experimental German tanks in this mod. There are so many cool ones that never got to see battle, and some that really remind us of the Cold War tanks that were in production and stuff. So really cool stuff. Can't wait to bring that in. Once again, there's going to be about let me see here, 180, 240 or 220 German defenders in total. And there's going to be about, let me see here. I'm trying to deselect there we go, the player there. And there's going to be about 240 British attacker in the first wave. Then there's going to be a second reinforcing wave with another 120. There's going to be 10 tanks in the first wave and 4 in the reserves. So 240 men and 10 tanks in the first attack, 120 men and 4 tanks in the reserves wave, which is going to be sent in later. If the Brits can't take it, they can't. I have no idea who's going to be winning this or not. It'll be really cool to see the results of it. Once again, if they do not break through, then we'll have to obviously fight in the future to see if we can. Perhaps even send in some Russians. And also, I really, really wanted to talk to you, everyone, about yesterday's video featuring the US attempt. A lot of people said I was biased. A lot of people called me American. I don't take that as an insult, but fact is I am not. I am as far away as possible from being an American. I'm actually Chinese. No, I'm Swedish, so that isn't really American in my books, at least. I am not biased. The Americans were given an advantage, but it has nothing to do with them being American. It was the third wave. We had attacked the fortress 3 times. The previous 2 waves had done barely anything. The Brits got quite close. Then we changed the defenses for wave 2 and we sent in the Russians. The Russians had more infantry, but the defense was more explosive, so to speak. So none of them survived and the tanks were shot down just as much as the British were as well. So in the third attempt, I decided, well, it's the Americans' turn. Why was the Americans sent in third? Because 1, the Brits went to war with the Germans first, they go first. The Russians went to war with the Germans second, they go second. The Americans went to war with the Germans third, they go third. That's how it was. Every wave since the British wave were stepped up in terms of numbers. Obviously, that makes the American, being the third wave, have more than the previous 2. You know, go figure that out. Don't get your panties wet. Don't get your underwear in a tangle. There was nothing else about it. I gave the Americans rockets because clearly the previous 2 waves had not succeeded. If it had been the Russians attacking third, or the Japanese, or the Finnish, or the Italians, or whatever, the Portuguese, I don't care, the Norwegians, they would have been given rockets. They would have been given a stronger wave than the previous 2 attackers. It has nothing to do with anyone's faction or nationality, okay? It is the fact that it was the third attack. It was about time to move on. That super fortress was insane. It was great. It stopped everything else. It was time to send in some rockets. If it hadn't been the Americans, it had been the Russians, and they would have had Katyushas. Get over it. Alright, the attack is on. And behold, the British land cruiser. Look at this thing. Okay, so where do we begin? Well, it looks like it has 2 Bison turrets on both sides, and a TOG gun in the middle. Yes. Wow, okay, well, it's rolling in. And all guns can fire at the same time. It's only crewed by 4 men, but they have some pretty cool auto-firers, and it's already starting to bombard the German trenches back there. Look at that. British infantry coming in, and we have some Churchills. It's the Churchill 3D, I believe, which has 2 guns on it. And it's really cool. I thought we'd use it for this attack. Add some variety. Those tanks are also new with this mod, so that is just pretty cool. All the guns are being fired right now. Oof, that big howitzer in the back there is going to be opening up the Germans. Jesus Christ. First wave here, or the first line, is getting heavily bombarded. But the Germans are holding down the trenches. This Flak 38 has already been disabled. The trenches here on the left side are doing quite well. More Churchills are coming in to support the British infantry attacking up front. This Wespe is now initiating another bombardment. It's got a very rapid firing gun there, but it takes a long time to reload in between the 5 or 6 shots. Look at that. Oh, jeez. Look at the shells incoming here. That is absolutely insane. Let's take a look at the middle here again, and perhaps a little bit of the left side, as the Vespa and the 38 here is opening up at the attacking Churchills and infantry. Look at that. Okay, gun hit, crew dismounted. But the trenches are still holding it down. There's going to be a lot of British infantry running up on the side. Two land cruisers sent in today out of the 10 tanks in the first wave. First one's going to be rolling up the center now with some infantry supporting. This bunker has been knocked out, and most of the German trenches have been, like, collapsed. Look at them, the wooden structures are breaking. The Vespa is being knocked out. The crew is still crewing it. It's giving away some dangerous smoke there from the engine. That can't be good at all. The flak gun on this side is down, but German infantry in the trenches are going to be battling the British Churchills with tanks. And oh my god, tracks knocked out, and we have some alarming fire coming out from the left side MG gun there in the turret. That is not good at all. 2 Churchills down on this side, And I think the churches on this side are going to run into some trouble as well. Grenades are taking out the tracks, and bazookas and Panzerfausts are dealing with the rest. We have a gunner right here who's about to shoot another rocket at the Churchill. Or perhaps not. Perhaps he decides to wait for a better opportunity. The Vespa over here still not knocked out. Oh, look at this. Land cruiser coming up the middle. Oh, jeez. Grenades and whatnot being thrown at it. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, I'm so worried it's going to break through any second. Look at that grenade being thrown. Oh. Oh, it's taking so much of the grenades and whatnot being thrown at it. That is absolutely insane. But it's going to roll through. And they have some interesting guns on top here that hopefully we'll see being used against the German defenders here. Once it levels out, it obviously can't turn the turrets everywhere up and down. It's obviously limited because of its size, speed, and the guns on top of it. But it seems to be moving ahead. Perhaps it will leave the German defenders back here for the second land cruiser. This Churchill is now went up in a huge explosion. And more grenades and whatnot being shot at the attackers back there. The churches on this side have come to a complete halt. Infantry's moving up and they're starting to secure the trenches over here on this side. All Churchills but one have been completely knocked out on this side. They have one active, but the tracks are out, so that's very unfortunate. The land cruisers are moving on though. No stopping. The reserves will have to be sent in about 2 minutes from now to try and clear out the other two lines. But other than that, it's not looking overly good. Lots of German infantry on this side, so attacking the left side with the reserves will be devastating. They've just eliminated every single Churchill attacking here. Land cruisers still active. Both are moving up at the enemy. This is interesting. This is going to be cool. They're going to hit the second lines already. I think their goal is to punch through and really distract the front lines from the frontline Germans from attacking the Brits attacking them, to sort of try and perhaps aim down these land cruisers moving further inlands, getting at the German defenses. Mortars being fired. Panzerschrecks and Panzerfausts don't seem to be able to do anything against these guys right now, unless they perhaps get a really good solid hit. And the land cruisers are not even engaging any of the defenders right now. Whoa, big explosion there. Look at that. It's turning around, shooting at the defenders behind it. That is quite brilliant, actually, to be able to engage the defenders behind it while still moving forward, attacking the lines in front of it. So both of these guys moving up now, these are absolute beasts. As I'm looking over here, infantry under heavy fire. I think it's time to deploy the reserves. The reserves have been deployed further back, but the two British land cruisers are still moving at the enemy without any infantry support or any other medium or heavy tank support. These two super heavy land fortresses are just moving at the enemy, and look at that. Oh. Okay, look at that. Two grenades here, two AT grenades from the Luftwaffe ground forces in one of the trenches actually took out one of the land cruisers, and I think it would be very dumb for the other one to take choose the same path. So it's going to steer left, and it's not going to be going up that way, it seems. That is a surprise. I've tested this scenario a lot of times, and I've seen it go a lot farther and a lot... I was actually worried back here because I thought for a second that the amount of grenades and rockets fired at it was going to take it out, but it always surprises you to us how much damage it can take. It really does matter where the grenades hit. But this super heavy land cruiser is down. And the reserves are moving in. Let's see where the Churchills are attacking. We have one stationed over here supporting the British infantry. And we have three moving up the center. Obviously the left side could need some battering. I don't think the three Churchills will be enough to take out all the German infantry in these trenches. They're simply so well entrenched. And we can see one of the land cruisers moving up there on the left side, taking lots of fire, but sort of just moving on with it. It obviously has to continue now, as it's front runner here has been destroyed. It's turned around for some reason. Oh. Let's see what the result of its movement will be. Right now we have some Churchills steadily engaging the left defenses here. So many others destroyed, but one... Oh, are these both active? I think they might be. Just that they've lost their tracks, which is unfortunate enough, but... No, this one on the left side is definitely out, but... Jeez. Ugh. Infantryman there hit one of the British soldiers in the spine, and he was in pain, brought down. All these 4 are active, but one has lost its tracks. They can all be repaired. We've got one more moving up on this side. And the British infantry right now is really engaging in a nasty close quarters fight here with the defenders in the trenches. Their goal is to eliminate every single other German standing defender, and I believe they will be successful in doing so. British infantry moving up everywhere. We have a German sniper over here just opening up at the British attackers. Looks really cool. I love the special effects in this mod that I've combined it with. Alright. Let's focus on the highlight of the episode. This land cruiser still moving up at the enemy, and I want to see more of its firepower be used against the German defenses. I think it's packing a lot that it hasn't really shown us yet. It's got a lot of potential. It just needs to get in a good position. This one here was unfortunately brought down a little too early, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion, of course. It can vary from person to person. But let's move up. Oh! Panzer IV here on this side of the fence has engaged, but I think... I'm not sure how it's going to deal with that. It's going to engage it from behind, but it's going to be hard to hit it. Oh! Grenades being thrown, but the land cruiser is now returning fire at the German defenses. And there's going to be a lot of shells raining down here at the third and final line. Look at that! Here they come. Heavy shells incoming. Oh! Oh, that's a 3 direct hits, 4 direct hits, 5 direct hits, and the crew inside, even though the HE shells aren't so much destructive against heavy armor or medium armor like this, it's knocked out all the, knocked off all the what do you call that, additional armor. And the one crewman inside decided to jump out. He's like, I'm done with this. Nope, I am so done with this. And he met the fate in front of the land cruiser. That is quite bloody, to be honest. I've seen better ways to go, but it's coming up onto the final defense here. There are flak guns, there are Panzer Shreks, Panzerfausts, heavy officers, or high-ranking officers rather. Look at this man over here with this little beautiful blue uniform. I'd like to be a Luftwaffe Ground Forces officer. That'd be very cool, I think. It's kind of bad though. I mean, you lose so many planes that you don't have. That you have to create like a land forces from air personnel, Air Force personnel, I guess. That's what they did with the Kriegsmarine when they started losing so many ships and vessels and whatnot. But they made Kriegsmarine like ground infantry, you know, Marines. But not necessarily just Marines, but legitimately Kriegsmarine infantry divisions and whatnot, because they had too many men that they couldn't put on boats because they had none. And people are still battling for the trench back here. That's insane. And how's it going up here? This thing gets stuck? I think we've got a problem. I think it's stuck. Okay, well let's just try and back it out. Let's put it on free move to give it its free will. And let's send it up slightly to the right. Oh, Jesus Christ, it's already shooting. There we go. That shouldn't harm anyone's personal feelings. Oh, it ran into something else. There's always something to run into, isn't there? Yeah, there's a stone here. Right. Take a slight left. Okay? Good. Go, go, go. There we go. get out of the unknown terrain. A land cruiser, very strong. It's like a moving fortress, not too versatile. Perhaps a few too few horsepower there to power through some tiny rocks in the ground. This attack is still being halted. I'm going to take initiative. I'm going to take superior. Command, I am going to send up the Churchills. We need to advance at the enemy with haste. We need to arrive and aid our land cruiser further ahead. That's some serious technology. We don't want to end up in the German hands. Well, look at that. Pretty good result so far. One of the Vespa is down. How's this guy doing? Oh, jeez. He's going on a war rampage himself. But what does he want to achieve? What can he fight? Look at that, it's hitting the... oh, Jesus Christ. It would be a shame to have it knocked out, but what happens does happen. Look at the amount of shells being shot at it. All the, well, rockets rather. The Panzerfausts, the Panzerschrecks. I think they're running out of Panzerfausts, but this Panzerschreck guy's got a lot of rockets. I wonder if the tank is going to make it personal. I think the tank might just make it personal. Yeah, now would be a good time to get out, guys. Oh, look! They got it. Nice. After a lot of ifs and buts, they did destroy it. Okay. Both land cruisers are down. Churchills? What's the progress? Is this trench being cleaned out? I can't believe there's still German infantry here defending. Nope. We're going to support the right side just to aid the infantry. But if you ask me, an old, experienced, wargaming general, armchair general, I don't think that the... not so much of an armchair general. I honestly don't get involved in conversations that that make me seem like one. But as an experienced men of war commander, I do think that the British are running out of luck. The Germans simply have a little too much guts. Everyone has lost their hat. That's how you know you've been in the shitter. Nice maneuver there from the Churchill. But it did back off in time. That one was destroyed, ultimately, by the Luftwaffe ground forces in the trench. This is the remaining Churchill, and while the Brits have a lot of Churchills, they don't have a lot of manpower on the ground right now. Let's look at the minimap, guys. Let's get a situational overview of the 360, or the remnants of the 360 British men who have attacked. There's 1, 2, and 3 active Churchills, one who has not lost its tracks on this side. I'd say that there's roughly 10 infantrymen currently still battling the German defenders in the trenches, and they're being gunned down. And not in few numbers either. But now that they have tanks up here, it's going to make them a little cocky. Look at them shooting each other back and forth like that. Absolutely insane. And over on this side, not much is going to happen, the German infantry. I think the German infantry, just to make things a little interesting, is actually going to be able to counterattack. Look at that. Men from the left side, or the right side, it's going to be sent into aid their brothers on the other side. We are going to be watching and witnessing this battle a second time around, my friends. Try and just outrun that Churchill. Oh, I think it might work. This is cool. German infantry counterattacking. It's badass on so many levels. Brits are pulling out. The remaining manpower and armor cannot break through any more German lines. And the fact that the Germans on the left side here are attacking the British right is it's pretty bad, to say the least. We have some soldiers crawling about here in the fields, getting some intel about the British troop movements, and they are indeed pulling back. My friends, it looks like it's going to be at least 3 parts. The Brits has to attack this again, and today I think we're going to turn it over to the Russians once more to give them a second go at this. The Brits did well, they did. It's just the trenches with all the infantry, so many. We might need more infantrymen and less tanks. We'll have to put that theory to good use. I'll see you guys soon again, and I'm super excited once again to reach those end parts. And yes, it'll be pretty cool. I do admit it. I'm very hopeful for future episodes in this very battle here. I'm not sure what to call it, but that's what matters is the actual contents of the very battle. And let's take a look at some of the casualties here on the field. Most of these red bodies here on the ground are indeed British as they try to assault the trenches. It's been so bloody. It's been like, I don't know what you want to call this, but crazy stuff. Plenty of infantry falling back here as well, but some of the plenty of Germans died up here too in these defenses. They did get far, but not far enough. We're going to clean this up and prepare for a Russian attack. Lose my voice, Jesus Christ. See you guys soon again. Bye.